Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Childcare Directors Chair podcast. As always, I am so excited that you are here today with us. If you are one of my returning listeners, thank you so much for tuning into our show literally almost every single day. Today we are going to talk about the future of funding. I know everybody is talking about funding. There's a lot of scarcity right now with our programs going to continue to get funding, whether you are nonprofit, even if you're a for-profit, but you have state-funded pre-K, federal food program, or one of the other plethora of programs that are funded through the government, we are all facing some type of budget crunches right now. We are joined today with Justin, who is one of the founders of ASTRO, a nonprofit after-school program that services low-income families. Together, we're going to talk about significant challenges that after-school programs are facing, especially as funding cuts put pressure on those serving in those low and middle income communities. And I will share my perspective as I run a program that is a for-profit, and he's going to talk a little bit about nonprofit. We're going to talk about, the challenges that we might have in common, some of the things that we don't have in common, and maybe some solutions to help out, either if you're a for-profit or nonprofit, just to help you out. So welcome to the show.
Erica, Paisana, thank you so much for having me on the show.
You're very welcome. We have a lot of vowels in our names.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, Justin, tell us a little bit about Astro and the work that you're doing here in Rhode Island.
Yes, so Astro, we just had our 10th year in business. We were founded April 14th, 2014, and our flagship service right now is, excuse me, an after school and summer care program for school-age children, which primarily services low-income families through the Childcare Assistance Program subsidy. We also do some off-site schoolwork with the Providence After School Alliance, Cozy and Pawtucket, and Central Falls School Department. We have a vocational program that we run with the Governor's Workforce Board as well for young adults ages 14 to 24. And it's really just been a great and very rewarding experience for me over the years. I love my job. I love the people I work with and the communities we serve. So, it's really been a pleasure to be a part of this.
Yeah, I can dig it for sure. School age is my first love, and I just for 26 years just love the school age community, especially the one in Rhode Island. But I'm biased, so um,
Yes.
yeah. What are the biggest challenges that you are facing right now with funding cuts?
Well, I'd say that one of the biggest challenges we're facing is the availability of funding. A lot of the traditional and the contracts that we serve were funded through government grants. A lot of it came from like ARPA funding through COVID relief money, and a lot of that's getting cut back now. So we're definitely feeling that pressure. Um, our flagship service, the Child Care Assistance Program, is funded through the Department of Human Services, and the subsidies that we get don't really cover the costs of the quality of care and service that we want to serve here. We try to serve warm, healthy meals, and we try to keep our staff to student ratios really low. Um, so staff to student ratios low, yes. And then also, our space is quite large. We have a great facility that, we're able to offer a lot of diverse programming, along with bringing in, community partners to teach specific like art and martial arts and STEAM classes. So, the cost of delivering that type of care while addressing a lot of the social and emotional concerns
Mm.
with the children make it very difficult to do on that, low reimbursement rate that we get. But that's kind of our mission, is to help serve these lower income families and provide this quality of care. So it's been definitely a balancing act over the years, trying to make it work.
Yeah. How many students is your program licensed for?
40.
40. Okay. And they're primarily CCAP students.
Yes. Yep.
And so, are you a part of Bright Stars? Have you guys
We are.
you are.
Yep.
Okay. Um, because that definitely, what is your rating? What do you guys have?
We're a one Bright Star rating
Okay.
because when we got licensed, you are automatically given a one Bright
Yeah.
Star rating. And it's been in the plan, in the strategic plan for a while now to apply and, get our Bright Star
Increase.
rating up.
Yeah.
But, we've always just been trying to, work out the details of navigating that system and making that happen.
Sure.
So it's just something that I've kind of had on our to-do list, but never really got to actually following through with.
Yeah. The reason I bring that up is because pretty recently, in the last couple years, school age now, if you have a higher rating, will get a higher reimbursement rate, which it didn't used to. It used to just be school age wasn't
Hmm.
really included in that. But if you have a higher rating, you'll get a higher reimbursement rating,
Hmm.
get a higher reimbursement payment from CCAP. So that might be something that might help bring a little bit more funds. I mean, it's not huge, but it definitely adds up by the end of the year. So that might be something to consider. What are the most have you found that you've had with the funding cuts any problem with providing consistent services to children and families? Like, have you found like less families are getting CCAP? Are you finding like enrollment has dropped any or
Not necessarily. No, our enrollment has been on a pretty slow and steady rise through word of mouth. We don't do much
okay?
advertising, but through the community that we've created, more and more people are hearing about our program and joining. Obviously, it's always a struggle, and we have students come and go as different scenarios happen within families. A big part of the
Yeah.
CCAP funding is employment, and that's not always
Yep.
something, people have challenges to employment, whether it be, physical disabilities or, being laid off at their job in the community, as we know that happens from time to time. So that's one of the challenges
Yep.
that families face is, maintaining employment. We also have some families that actually, start making more money and become ineligible for the subsidy,
Yeah.
which is a good thing, but it becomes an
Yeah.
issue because they're making more money, but it's still oftentimes not
Yeah.
enough to afford what we
Yeah.
would charge for our daily or our weekly tuition. So
Okay.
for the most part, we've kept a pretty good little community of families and children here at Astro over the years. Um, we've targeted, kindergarten, first, second grade with our recruitment from the beginning. We've been licensed now for 3 years, accepting the subsidy. So, I've been able to see children grow with our center over the years as new kids are coming in. So that's been great. And then we've
Okay.
also had a few kids that, have grown past the age where that CCAP would cover their
Pay for it.
services.
Yeah.
So. Mm.
Yeah. How I are you guys almost full? Where are you with capacity?
We're at 31 right now on our enrollment.
Okay.
We have 3 self-pay children, and the rest are all CCAP. And
CCAP.
we do
Okay.
like a 3/4 time. So we pick up kids from school, and we're open until 7 p.m., which is
Oh, okay.
something that's
That's
a
nice.
little bit, yeah, a little bit different than a lot of the other centers. We stay open a little bit later. A lot of parents like that because they're going to school or, they're going to the gym after work. So they have that, time for
Yeah.
themselves before they pick up their child. And, when they leave Astro, their homework's done and they're fed and
Yeah.
they're tired out and hopefully ready for bed at that time.
Yeah. You're relieving a lot of stress for families too because it's hard and when both parents are working and then you got to rush home, you're trying to do the homework, trying to get dinner, you don't get a lot of, a quality time with your kids. So it's nice that you've kind of taken some of that off so that when parents do get home with their kids, they're able just to spend that quality time. So that's really really nice.
Absolutely. Yeah, we get a lot of good
Yeah,
feedback on that. And also a lot of the parents are that we service are single parents. So they're raising, kids on their own, which also provides challenges. So being able to, have that support from Astro and be able to, have their kids come home and be able to spend that quality time with them definitely has been something that has been vocalized as a benefit and appreciated for sure.
yeah. Do you have any creative strategies that you've already implemented to address budget challenges to sustain your program?
Already implemented. Well, not so much. In the past, we had subsidized a lot of the, funding challenges that we have in CCAP through um, like contracts with the Advanced Course Network and offsite programs. But a lot of that funding has been kind of scaled back,
Sure.
especially through the Advanced Course Network. We're working right now on trying to target self-pay families. So that's one strategy that we're working on currently
Mm-hmm.
is to go out there and look for community members that are able to pay for our services as opposed to the subsidy, which would help offset some of the losses that we have,
Yeah.
from that CCAP reimbursement. Um, so that's one strategy that we're currently working on. And then there's other things we have in place. I'm trying to reach out to other local organizations, and see what kind of partnership opportunities would be available. Working with other nonprofits, to help each other out in that
Mm-hmm.
regard. And, trying to come together as a community. Also, I'm hoping to, start doing a little bit more charitable donation and solicitation, reaching out to the community for charitable donations and potentially maybe even creating some sponsorship opportunities for people in the
Mm.
community to sponsor some of our members are things that are in the plans, but we haven't really, executed on yet.
Okay. Um, are there any large companies close by that maybe might have a lot of employees that you can tap into that?
Yeah, Hasbro's not far away from here. And we just became a member of the Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce. So I'm hoping that we can start circulating some
Sure.
information. My big push is going to be for this summer. I really want to try to go out there and get as many self-pay
Mm-hmm.
um, clients and families as we can for the summertime, which will then hopefully carry on into the school year. So that's kind of the big push right now because usually by this time of year, a lot of people have their after school care covered and they're
Mm-hmm.
starting to look towards, what are we
Summer
going to do
camp.
for summer? So
Yeah.
trying to get ahead of that curve and
That
find
time
the
is, yeah,
families
right now.
and yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right now. That's the
Yeah.
time. That's the
Yep.
time.
Yeah. When it's
Well,
cold outside, we're dreaming about those summer days. So.
well, one of the things, as I said earlier, my program is a for-profit. So we always
Mhm.
have to figure out creative ways to bring in funding to our program because I mean, we do have CCAP, but other than that, that's really the only external money that we get.
Mhm.
So some of the things I think that are really important is we definitely try to connect with other businesses and see if we can do some type of a corporate childcare program for them. We do that with some of the hospitals. So if
Mm.
you're in Providence, you might reach out to the HR departments at the hospitals and say, we can offer XYZ to your employees. And they put it in the handbook and say, here are the benefits. You can get a discount at childcare at these particular places.
Wow,
The
that's a
other
great
thing
idea.
too is, yeah, if you I'm gonna make this up, but like if you have a speed stacker cup program challenge, I know
Hmm.
you say you do STEM, right? Maybe reaching out to the speed stacker company and say, hey, would you be interested in sponsoring our program by doing either materials or some type of bonus money, something like to sponsor because a lot of businesses do look like you said for those charitable places and usually if you already have a relationship with the company or you're already purchasing their things, that might be a good way to to connect.
It's
Yeah.
another great idea.
Yeah. Um, so you talk about some of the nonprofits that you work with in your local community. Are there any local businesses or volunteers that maybe can help with the bridging of funding gaps?
So yeah, that Hasbro's always been one of the organizations that I've wanted to reach out to. I know they have a volunteer program internally where their
Hmm.
employees are encouraged and rewarded by volunteering in the community.
Hmm.
So I've always kind of had it on my radar to reach out to them. One of the things I've been thinking about is reaching out to some of the local gyms
Hmm.
because I know, there's a lot of smaller gyms that are opening up and, parents can't always bring their children to the gym. So
Yep.
we might be able to share some flyers or work out some type of partnership there in that regard where, parents can bring their kids to Astro while they go exercise.
Yeah.
So that's been one thing that I've been thinking about. Um, it's a tough situation because I'm so boots on the ground right now. I get out of my day job. I drive a bus picking up kids.
Hmm.
I'm teaching classes here at Astro, and I do that till 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. So 5 days a week, I work 12 hours, and then on the
Yeah.
weekends, I have book work to do, and I'm working on grants. So it's one of those things where I have all these great ideas, even with the Bright Stars rating.
Hmm.
It's something that I've wanted to do for a while. It's just my team and myself, we're working on such a tight budget right now
Sure.
that we don't really have the capacity. And I know it sounds silly because, it's easy to just send an email or, do that sort of things. But I
Doesn't
have,
sound silly.
you know, taxes are due now. And,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just one thing after another that, if I don't take care of these more important things, um, you know, we're not able to run the business. And,
Yeah.
we get into those situations where, and then, we're always dealing with, issues with, we got a flat tire on the
Yeah.
bus or, some type of repair at the facility. So it gets tricky in that regard. And that's why a lot of this, outreach has not been done. I know you mentioned that you had never really heard of Astro before. We don't
Hmm.
really do much marketing. Everything that, comes our way comes through word of mouth or, um,
Which is a
through.
blessing. Yeah. I mean, that is a blessing, for sure, when you have great word of mouth. And
Mm,
sometimes that is the marketing itself. Maybe if you,
hmm
I mean, you definitely look like you have a good camera over there because your picture is crystal clear. Even if you
Thank you.
talk to the parents and say, hey, would you mind going on video for 30 seconds and tell me what you love best about our program? And then you just
Hmm
go, boop, share. And you don't even, it doesn't have to be fancy. Other parents talking about what's great about your program really can just does the job for you. So if
Mm.
people want to volunteer at your place, what type of volunteers are you looking for? What talents are you looking for? And how do they apply to be a volunteer?
Great question. Volunteers are awesome because not a lot of people can, afford monetary contributions. And in my opinion, personally, donating yourself and your time to something is the most valuable gift that you could
Hmm.
give and one of the most appreciated here for sure. I'd say probably one of the bigger needs is with homework help. We have a lot of elementary age students and they get homework and my staff is there to help and we do a great job with homework help.
Hmm.
But we notice that, there's a lot of kids that struggle with their homework and,
Need a little
it's
bit
they've been
more
in
help.
school all day, so
Yeah.
it's tough to keep their attention. And when you have to bounce around between a group of 4 kids you might be working with,
Hmm.
um, you know, it's tough to maintain their attention. So we would definitely love people to be able to come and help work with the children, help them with their homework. We like to get that done, right away when they get to the facility. It's kind of the philosophy, get your homework
Hmm.
done and, then have some fun. And then aside from that, just engagement with the children every day. We have 2 groups, age appropriate. One is in the gym and one is in the art room and then they switch. So just having folks that could show up and create positive relationships and mentor and be a good role model to these kids, come in the gym, and just have fun, play a game of soccer or create an art project with them, and just little things like that go a long way. And brightening up these kids' lives and making them feel important and that someone cares and is there for them. So just those type of mentorship roles are very valuable. Anybody that would be interested in volunteering with us could always just send an email to info@go-astro.org. All the information and the contact information is on our website. You could even just call the main number, and it's an application that you would fill out just like an employment application. An interview follows that. A background check is important. We have to get, national background check supported by fingerprints. And then after that, we just do a quick training. We go over, HIPAA and what that means, and positive youth development, and just some organizational things that we like to, maintain as far as like the flow of our operation and, what's appropriate conversation. And then obviously like, important signs to look for and, how to report on things that happen. Because, we oftentimes, make great relationships with these kids, and, we got to make sure that if there's something going on in their lives that's concerning, we know, and we're able to report that and bring that to the staff. So that training is usually about 4 or 5 hours for the volunteer. And then after those things are completed, they're good to go.
Yeah. And so the more volunteers you have, the more, obviously, the better quality you can have, but you can also offer more programs and you can bring in more kids without having to pay more overhead for staffing, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you talked a lot about the physical fitness stuff, which is great, and homework. What about you? Tell us the programs that you offer, because you also offer things around science, music. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. On Mondays, we have a music program, Music Mondays, with the co-founder, Michael Croyan. He's an excellent musician. He's been playing guitar and piano and bass since he was very young. So he not only goes over a lot of the music theory and music composition, but he also introduces the kids to the technology surrounding music, like digital audio workstations where music is produced. So the children learn a lot about, audio engineering, which is great, along with the music theory stuff. And then, we like to make up songs here at Astro. I've always said one day we're going to have Astro the musical, because we're always, going around the building, like singing about washing the dishes or whatever we're doing at the time. So that's also a really fun part of the music program is, creating a beat and singing along with the kids. So a lot of great STEAM concepts in there. Obviously, music is very heavily surrounded in mathematics, so there's a lot of learning opportunities for math there. And through the composition, you can also have, ELA learning opportunities with rhyme schemes and word composition or songwriting, lyric writing. So that's great. And we also just recently implemented a STEAM program where this is actually a product of a grant we received recently through the city of Pawtucket. It's the Community Impact and Education Grant. And what we're trying to do is introduce more science, technology, engineering, art, and math learning opportunities to our members. So we're going to be having the kids go through a whole bunch of different of the science standards. We're starting with plants and animals, and we're going to create a little terrarium over here. So we'll be doing a little bit of gardening indoors. Traditionally, all our gardening happened in the summertime outside, but we got some nice grow lamps and supplies. So we'll have an indoor little garden. And we're also going to be, getting some reptiles and possibly an arachnid or two. And we'll have the kids, learn about animal husbandry and, what it takes to raise an animal and how to handle them and make sure they're, cared for, and making sure their environments are set up. And then from there, there's a bunch of science standards that we get into that honestly relate to a lot of the programs that we run. Like with music, there's a whole science standard around waves, waves of light and waves of sound. So we'll be, incorporating how sound is distributed, um, and how waves in the air actually are what is the thing that your ear picks up to hear that sound. And then, a lot goes into, we're going to be talking about like motion and forces, which we'll be doing in the gym. Just throwing a ball and hitting it with a baseball bat. There's a lot of science around that. So that STEAM project is going to take a lot of the programs that we're currently already offering and applying a lot of these science, technology, engineering, and math concepts to it in a more formal way, and kind of more curriculum based than we had done in the past. And thanks to the city of Pawtucket who made this grant available to us. And we're going to be rolling that out here in the next couple of weeks. So I'm really excited about putting these curriculums together and implementing them into the program.
Yeah. So you guys are definitely doing a lot of great work there, and we certainly want to help support you folks and get the word out about what you are doing and how folks, can help. So, if you're in the Providence, Rhode Island area, you want to volunteer, reach out, like you said, on the website. If you don't have time to volunteer, but you have a little funds, I'm sure they would appreciate that. Or even if you want to donate supplies, materials, you have, crafts and things like that. Maybe that's something that you can help as well.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're a business that has a lot of employees and your employees need care. You can send them Justin's way. He's got a few spots available as well. Um, for those of you who advocate, we need you to advocate at the local level, at the national level about continuing to fund after school programs. They're extremely important to our community. We all know that. That's not debatable anymore. After school programs are important and they matter to kids, they matter to communities. Justin, is there anything that I didn't ask you that you would like to leave the listeners with?
Ooh. Um, I guess, I'd like to say that we're not the only ones out there doing this. As you all know, there's a lot of other great organizations, our
Mm-hmm.
community, the Providence County Wrestling Club, Eugene Montero, the Empowerment Factory, Gail Allers. You got Progreso Latino is a wonderful organization. So if not ASTRO, there's plenty of different organizations here in Pawtucket and Central Falls that would love to, get your support. So, as they say, it takes a community to raise a child. And I think that's where, with a lot of the funding issues that we're all facing, we can thrive and succeed
Mm-hmm.
through this time if we can all come together and support each other. So I would say, if you're listening to this podcast and you want to help out, there's plenty of opportunities to do so. There's plenty of organizations and there's plenty of kids that need your help. So
Yeah.
I'd like to, just make that call to action to those folks out there to come and help us out, help us raise these kids. And these children are really the future of our society, and it should be where we're putting all of our attention and focus. And I hope we can do that as a community.
Yeah. So I'm going to leave the link to Justin's program below in our comment section. Please reach out to him if any of these things spark interest for you, or you just have in your heart that you want to help him. Justin, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do for you. I know we're having a early childhood conference coming up in May. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to give you a free ticket to go to Leadership Day,
Oh,
because I think that you will get so much from that. You'll make some great
indeed.
connections. And there's a lot of topics on strategy, funding streams. Like it's going to be perfect for you. The other thing
Thank you
is, yeah,
so much.
absolutely. The other thing is, after we get off the show, I'm going to help you navigate Bright Stars. We're going to get that off your to-do list. I'm going to
Oh,
help you with that. I've been through Bright Stars, well, I don't know, probably 7 or 8 visits. I've got that down. No problem. I will help you and your team. And I will do that for free. I will just help you through that. Because I think that
Erica, thank
one,
you so much.
quality is, yeah, you're welcome. Quality is important and helping each
Mm-hmm.
other is important. And that's definitely what we are all about here. So it would be my honor to help you guys with that. Um, for my friends that are listening, Again, get involved. Thank you so much. And as always, remember it's the small details that make a big impact on the success of your childcare business. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you.